Welcome back to Better with Therapy.
All right, I'm here with Cole Barrett. I've known Cole for a couple years now. This is Better with Therapy. I met Cole in physical therapy, and I think I'll be probably seeing him on and off for a while now.
I hope so.
Yeah. So,
so.
Cole, what was it like growing up around here?
It was. I mean, there was everything. You know, we had the ocean, the bay. We got the woods. You know, there's anything you can do. It's out there.
Yeah. What were your hobbies?
Well, as a kid, I had an uncle who owned a townhouse, so I was always kind of in there. We'd go out on the water. We'd just fish, rockfish, flounder, all that kind of deal. A lot of Xbox.
So, oh, really?
Yeah, I was
What was your favorite game?
I was a gamer. I was huge into Call of Duty. That's the big one. All games. Shooter with the action. And, I'd get on there with all my my guys and just all the night and it'd be like and 2 a.m. Well, see you at school in 5 hours.
What about in high school? Did you have a job afterwards, or just hobbies? Like you went to the beach? Or?
I went to the beach. A lot of Xbox.
Yeah.
I played sports. Well, sport. I was played football.
Okay.
Pretty much since I was, I think, 8 or 9. As a kid, I played other sports. I played soccer, which I ended that probably when I was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my things. So I mean, a lot in high school. It was school, practice, homework.
Yeah.
And then it'd be time for bed. Because I'd be exhausted from all the.
Well, football's tiring.
Football's tiring.
Because they started early in the summer.
Yeah.
Or late in the summer.
Oh, and it'd be nice and hot out there.
Yeah, I bet. And who was it? Coach Knox?
Bob Knox.
Yeah, he was there
the
forever.
Infamous Bob Knox. Yeah.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, I used to work with him at Secrets, and I never even knew he was a football coach.
Oh yeah.
And then going back to some of the things that when I first met you, when I first came to Ocean City, I worked at Phillips Seafood House on 141st, and I worked with your dad.
I remember you told me that.
I worked
Crazy.
the summer of 88 and 89. He was a waiter, I was a busboy. And then that was for 2 summers, and then years later, maybe 10 years later or so, he worked at Secrets with me. We were both working as a doorman at Secrets.
How old were you then? And were you guys the similar age?
He was a little bit older than I was, and I don't even know what year that was. Well, it must have been in the 90s. It was in the early 90s, to be honest. It was either 91, 90, or 92. So it wasn't actually 10 years later. It was probably it was only a couple years, 91, 92, and then I went to physical therapy school, and then I came back and I worked there again in 94. But I think, actually it was 91 or 92, so it was only a couple years later, actually. It wasn't 10.
Yeah.
And then he had his landscaping business,
right.
And I used his services for landscaping. So,
oh, yeah?
Yeah, in the weeds.
Yeah, in the weeds.
Right?
In the weeds.
Right.
Small world.
So the way I met you, what's the worst injury you've had? And is it the one that I saw you for?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, growing up, everything I did, I honestly didn't ever get hurt. I had cuts and scrapes, all that. But, as far as being actually hurt, I was fine. And then, as you know, I had the incident in the end of 2022. I went out, had a little too much to drink. Halloween, the night of 2022. Yep. me and my friend went back to his house, and I slept in a chair, which, you know, everyone's like, oh, I've slept in a chair, yada
Yeah,
yada.
yeah.
But something with the way I was laying or sitting, something happened in my lower half, and it was like 6 a.m. I'm like, oh, what's up? And then I was like, I can't like get up. I was down in the chair, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like I'm awake now, but I'm like, I can't. I'm like, what's happening? And then I'm like looking at my feet, and I'm like, okay, my feet. I don't have any sensation. I can't turn them, lift this, and then um, I was actually supposed to be at work. So again, this is
At Michael's.
yep. So I obviously didn't show up because I was out. No one really knew where I was, which now I think like, what was I doing?
Was
like,
your friend there? Or was
he was
someone at the house?
inside. I had slept outside in a chair.
Hungover.
Just like, what in the world? And then I wake up, my phone is off, and I can't stand up. So I'm like,
You had no phones. Your phone.
no, I was just sitting in the chair, like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I see my mom's car coming up to the house, and I'm like, what is that? She comes out all freaking out, like, I've been calling you, whatever. And I'm like, what's happening? So then they help me up. At that point, I was like, I had to almost carry me to her car. She drove me to not Johns Hopkins, Tidal Health, and we, the doctors were looking. Even they were like, we really don't know what happened. They were like, we think you could have cut off your nerves at your knee or your lower back. Somewhere along the way, something was cut off, and it turned off your feet. Yeah, I was in the hospital for 5 days,
At
which
Tidal Health?
which was.
And did you lose motion? Was it? I can't remember. Was it? It wasn't just your feet.
It was
though.
yeah.
Or was it just your feet?
At the
or was
time, it was nothing in my feet, and then pretty much up to my knee was very like numb.
On just the.
No, on both of them.
On both sides, yeah.
Like in the sense, I wasn't able to even like flex my calf at all.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like from the knee to down was just off. So yeah, I was in hospital for five days, which coming from somebody who has hardly spent any time in a hospital, injuries were not a thing in my life up until that point. That was rough.
Yeah, I bet.
Just laying in the bed with thinking what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The doctors are like, I mean, it could come back, could not come back.
Yeah, you don't know.
We really don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I was just out, having a good time, and then now I'm just.
So do you
stuck.
think it was the position that you were in, like
I still
that maybe you were stretching it?
I was gonna say I still really don't know. I mean, the doctors either. They think I was compromised in a way of leaned over, or I had like my knees in a sense where they were like under me, and it had just restricted something long enough to totally cut off all
Yeah.
whatever that's is. But yeah, I mean, even now I really don't know the true cause.
What were you drinking that night?
I think the question is, what was I not trying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, it was just I was young. I was 22. You know, I guess I was 23. I don't. I like to, I'm like, yep.
How old are you now?
That's the old me. Now I'm 27.
Yeah.
So I guess I was 24. But I'm
By the way,
beyond that life. I'm pretty much sober now. I'll have a wine here. Just casual. But that definitely changed me in a great way.
Yeah, you probably just realized that maybe the
Maybe
partying is
I
not all
don't
worth
need
it.
to do this, right?
Yeah, it's not as fun, And then going through that, you basically you can't walk. You're 24,
right?
You can't walk. You're in the hospital for 5 days, and then what happened next?
Well, I went home after the fifth night. They gave me the AFO.
Oh yeah,
which
brace.
At the time they only give me one for my right foot because my left had started to show some kind of, recovery. They gave me a walker, which, having that as a 24-year-old with no other past was like so I went home, which at the time I still lived with my mom, and shout out to her because she was everything in that. But yeah, I went home, like I just getting into the house was a struggle, leaning on things, dragging. My room was upstairs, so every day I'd have to pretty much crawl up the steps, which again is, I'm 24.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was always like concerned because I'm like I didn't have an accident. I didn't have something where it just happened and I can explain why all that.
Yeah.
No one knew anything, and it was like, why did this happen? But yeah, I was home for a couple weeks. My left side started to kind of recover slowly. I could flex it, but at that time, my right was still entirely just off, like nothing. I could tap on it and I wouldn't even, Then I remember the doctor told me I should probably start here, which I was like, okay, fine. So I think I came here maybe a month after. Because it happened October 31st. I think I started in here in November, I think. But then I was only here at that time for a couple weeks because that was when it started to hurt. The pain.
Yeah, I remember you
the
had a lot of
nerve
pain.
I don't know if that's the nerve regeneration, which that's what the doctor said. They were like, it'll probably hurt as the nerves start to kind of recover, but it was unlike anything I
remember you had so much pain.
It was at the point where I'm like, I can't leave the house. Yeah. I'm just gonna sit in bed and suffer, which hindsight was arguably the worst idea ever. But yeah, I was here for a couple weeks, and then I was like, I can't. Like it hurts too much to even have on a sock, have on this. I mean, I'd be up all night just laying in bed, just in agony. Just my feet were on fire. I always said it felt like when you're, in Ocean City and the blacktop has been in the sun all day.
Yeah.
And it hurts. It was like that. It was constant. I used to go into the tub and just turn it as cold as it could and just soak my feet and then it would subside, and then I'd get up, and then half hour later it's back. So I mean, there was a time where the only thing I did for almost a month was just hurt or be sitting in the tub. It was kind of insane. Which again, looking back, there was probably more I should have and could have done.
Yeah, but you don't know.
Right, and it almost got to the point where, because I mean, obviously on my, like, the mental health, I was shot.
Yeah, I was gonna
kinda,
have that hit because it'll hit you
was
that
unbelievable.
more. Sometimes that's more than physical.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you don't know what the outcome's gonna be.
Yeah, it was almost to the point where I like kind of just like began to just accept. I'm like, well, you know, this is how it is. Which again, thinking back, I'm like, why was that my like thought of well, you know, it happened. This is gonna be a bad time for a long time.
Yeah.
But then to that point, I think that January after the holidays, I decided, you know what, fine, I'll return here. Because I mean, something I've learned with coming here, it isn't even as much all of the things that I do in here. It was the act of I'm out of the house and I'm active.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to better yourself.
Right. Because, you know, other than here, I was home, sitting at home. So I had finally really, you know, thought, okay, maybe I should try. You know, because I'm like, if not, what am I going to do? Just be hanging out every day with, you know? So yeah, I came back here, I think in January. And I think around that time, my left side was getting strong again, I would say. But I remember when I came back here, my right was still off.
Yeah, I remember the one side. So is this 2022?
Now we're in 2023.
2023.
January 2023.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I remember here, you know, it was like a thing of let's just try to get some strength. Because if we can get some strength, it'll, you know, activate some things. And again, I was at the point where I'm like, it's not, you know, it isn't gonna help. You know, I had that thought, which I think that was kind of me just, again, accepting it. But I mean, I think coming here, you know, if all else, it got me active again. It got me out of the house, socializing. I mean, it was...
Yeah.
I was home every day for a month and a half with me and my mom.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
hard.
She'd say, "Hey, you know, are you fine? What do you think?" You know,
Yeah.
It was. So then coming here definitely. It changed the way I was thinking about it. You know, it wasn't a well. It became a, okay, maybe if I do slowly start to see progress, then I'll, you know, think, okay, this happened, so let me just go a little bit more, and then this will happen, and then this will happen, which, you know, seeing it now, it's kind of exactly how it happened.
It was a slow process for you, but it
really
came.
slow.
It came. I mean, I remember sticking like the electrical stimulation
And
on
wouldn't do
your
anything.
leg, trying to get your ankle to go up, to help you with walking.
And it wouldn't do anything.
It wasn't. It didn't work.
And then I'd
tried it several
see
times.
it on someone else, and it would.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
not even that is, you know, doing anything. It was crazy.
But what was it? Wasn't there a time? And then there was a time. What was your right side that like your big toe started to move? Wasn't that what happened?
Because at home, I would just sit on my bed and just look at my feet and just think, move, you know, just endlessly. Because I'm like, one of these days something's gonna happen. So I would just lay and look at my feet, and just think, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. And then yes, there was a time where my right toe was just the littlest kick. But again, in my head, I'm like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
You know, I see that, and then I'm like, okay, well, if the toe can move, can it then be the entire foot? my whole calf. So see, I remember after that, I was in here, I think, the next day, and I came in, everybody come here, come here.
Yeah, let's watch this.
Kathleen, look, you know, it was like, look. And it was just a little kick.
Yeah, but that was it.
Right. Because, I mean, seeing nothing happening for the longest time, the littlest tick.
I could see your mindset when you were in here too. I saw how your mindset changed, and you were like you were always motivated, but like you said, that's what you needed to like
something.
Turn the page, get to the other stage, and then how did it progress from there? Like how long was that?
That was probably, so the toe probably started going that February of 2023. So that was almost 4 full months since the injury. So for an entire 4 months, my foot was limp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I had my leg up, the foot hung, which again is insane to even think. But so then the toe started to go, and then I think in here we kind of saw that, you know, everyone was like, okay, well, if that can move, let's get the strength back. So then the toe became the toes became my downward, which is flexion.
Plantar flexion. Yeah.
That came back stronger first, so I could take my foot down and back, but I couldn't go any higher than straight.
Yeah.
So that came back first, which, I mean, again, something new. I was like, okay, we can keep going. And then, you know, in here, a lot of what we did was kind of focus on strength. Because, I mean, like even the doctor said, we can't really fix the nerves in a sense, but what we can do is get your muscles back. Because, I mean, laying around for months and months, my legs were shot.
Yeah.
I mean, my calves were like a straw, which again, I'm like, you know, I've always had legs, you know. So then, we here, I remember we did a lot of strength. We did a lot of hamstring curls, quad work, which I honestly think did a lot in helping me be able to walk, like, because I could walk then, but it was definitely a slow thing, because, you know, it'd be step, you know, just take it easy. So then as my strength started to return, it became kind of a, like, okay, here's the strength, I got the toes now, I got the downward flex, let's just keep going. And then I'd say probably in March, maybe April, the up started, and it was, you know, it was light at first, but again, I'm like, something's there.
Yeah.
It's doing it. And then I had the AFO on for quite a while. I think I had that until maybe like the fall of that year, because I had kind of thought that, like, I'm, you know, if I don't have it on, then, you know, I struggle a lot. So I kind of thought, okay, I'm just gonna have it on always. And then here, I remember, you know, everyone explained, you know, try, you know, like at home, take it off, and just work on the strength.
Yeah, because you had some motion.
Right.
There was some motion there, so we wanted to take advantage of it.
Right. Yeah, you know, and if I just always had on the AFO, it was like, it's not helping. It's just keeping you at that, you know.
Yeah. So did we ever use the treadmill with the weight assisted, like to take some weight off you, or did we never have to do that?
We didn't ever do that. I don't
think we did.
We did a lot of stretching, which I even like my upper legs that, like, were healthy still.
Yeah. They were still
was
working.
tight as
Yeah, you were
all,
tight.
everywhere.
Just because your lack of walking
So
for so
yes,
long.
so I remember we did tons of stretching. We did a lot of what's that thing? This circular thing with the ball on it.
Oh, the BAPS board.
Which
Yeah,
I honestly
for,
liked.
for the coordination.
Coordination,
and
yeah.
everything.
We did a lot of that. We did a lot of strength stuff. Now, the favorite thing here, which was taken away kind of fast because was just taking the towel and just rubbing on my foot.
Oh yeah.
Because the sensation of just something on the foot, which at first was like, get it off me.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, that actually feels kind of good.
Yeah.
And then I remember it was discovered that they were like, I think he's like enjoying that. And they're
Yeah.
like, take it away.
Yeah, yeah.
Take it
'cause
away.
at that point, you were able to put weight through your foot,
Right.
and the desensitization that we were doing, you could do more just putting weight through your foot.
Right.
You know, we were like, yeah, well, he doesn't. He might
Because
not need that anymore.
I was like, yes, they're bringing out the washcloth.
Yeah, right.
And then I remember they were like, no, we took it out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and they're like, it's not helping. And I'm like, oh,
So when was it that you were able just to walk with no assisted device or AFL or anything?
I was able to probably because I stopped coming here, I think in April or May, partially due to insurance. But I was able to I was able to walk without it. I just had to go slow because my foot still kind of dragged if I didn't have on the AFO. But then through kind of taking it off here, there, whenever I was home, I wouldn't have it on at all. Just working on the strength, and then I would say probably towards the end of that summer, so almost a year after the incident, was when I was able to pretty much just, I'd go out to the store, wherever, leave it at home.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't all the way strong, but I could lift it now, so I could walk without the drag. Which again, that was like,
it's huge.
Thank God, because I mean, initially I thought, well,
I'm sure your mom was
over
going through all this with you too.
Man,
all the stuff
she
that
really was like the rock that like kept me in my, kept me out of my own head.
Yeah.
Because it's sitting in my room, up all night because falling asleep was impossible with my feet just on fire. It was, I was, it was tough, but she would do, anything. It'd be like 8 a.m. She'd knock on the door. She's like, I got you some breakfast. Which again was awesome. But then on the other hand, in my head, I'm like, I'm 24 and I'm stuck in my bed in my mom's house, and she's bringing me breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened? Like, this can't, this can't be.
It was like
my new life
going in reverse. And then what? So now, how are you doing now?
I would say, as far as strength on it, I'm 95%. I mean, I can do pretty much everything I could. I can run, I can jump. I have pretty good strength in each of the feet. Like, I honestly think they've pretty much evened out now.
Good.
Because, I mean, the left was definitely stronger, over time. But yeah, the one thing that I still like can sense is that the feeling of them is not like normal. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes they'll get like overly hot, and I'm like, what's going on? Or if I hit my foot, I'll feel that like
like
I don't know how to describe it, kind of like static.
Right.
It just feels off. But I mean, overall, I would say I'm as close to normal as I was that I like had ever hoped.
Yeah. Good.
Because I mean, at the start it was I'm done, and then something would move and I'd say, all right, maybe I'll get back 30%, and then something else moved and I'm like maybe 50%, and then it just kept going and going and going, and now I'm normal again, I'd say, which
Yeah, I mean, you're doing well. I mean, I think sometimes people mention that, with all the problems they have and injuries, and you were laid up for 4 months, not doing hardly any walking. There's sometimes a positive from that.
Yeah,
and you definitely got something positive from it.
I did, and I mean, I would say from like my life in general, from the day of the incident to now, is like has changed like tremendously, and to an extent, I'm like, is that just how things happen? I'm like, thinking to myself now, I'm like, had that not happened,
Yeah.
where would I be? Would I be going out every night still? But yeah, since I've gotten engaged,
Right.
I got a house.
Congratulations.
Which again, as of because I guess now it's been about 2.5 months since the injury, and I mean up until probably 6 months after, I was like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So looking back from then until now, I'm like, maybe it happened for a reason. Obviously that is a bit extreme of something to happen to change me, but I mean, it definitely helped me with just my thoughts in general. Now if something happens, I'm like, is it really that bad?
Yeah, is it as bad as
I
when
was unable to walk for a couple
That's
months
a great way to look at
24 years old. Is this really that bad?
That's a great way to look at it, and even you're, like you said, you're engaged, you have a house, and you wouldn't have met your fiance if you weren't injured,
Right?
because you met her as a result of
Right.
all the stuff you've gone through.
Which again, it's like, did it happen for a reason? Like, it honestly is insane to think. I'm like, I now have a house, a job, and I'm engaged now. Just 2.5 years after the worst thing that could have ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, again, it's like, if it hadn't happened, where would I be?
Right.
Obviously, I would have preferred this all to happen regardless.
Regardless of that, right?
But if this is what it took, again, very extreme, but I'd say it worked out good.
So what do you want the future to hold for you now?
It's a good question. I want to keep, because again, I still think I can get stronger. I'm the 95%. 100% is still in my thought.
Right.
But I just want to, I just want to enjoy my life. Now that I have it again.
Right.
Not that I was, not that I had a terrible life, but that incident was a terrible time.
Sure.
So now that I'm able to do what I can, I want to do everything I can while I can. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Take advantage of the time you have.
At 22, I thought, man, I got all this time and all this, and then at 24, it was like, not so fast.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so what's gonna happen now? So then now that again I'm healthy again, I'm like, I'm not, I've the thought of, oh, I got all the time in the world. I'm like, let me reel that in,
Yeah.
Let me enjoy the things I can do while I can.
Right. Good.
But yeah, it's only up from here.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Good
I
luck.
appreciate you. Yeah.
And we're always here if you need us.
I know that.
Thanks, Cole.
Thank you.